Hi, it's Chef Diana Andrews here, showing you how to begin the tartine bread from Chad Robertson. It all begins with the starter. I've been feeding this starter for about 2 weeks now. 35 grams of warm water and 35 grams of a mix of 50% bread flour and whole wheat flour. And as you can see, as I move it around, it's quite bubbly and active. And that means we're ready to go. So what I'm gonna do now is take about a tablespoon of this and bring it over to a pretty nice sized mixing bowl. I'd say medium size. And I'm gonna put it into the mixing bowl. I'm beginning the process of making the levain, and that is the first step towards making the boule. Here's what you do next. 200 grams of warm water. I am measuring in grams. It's a more precise way of measuring. Added to the tablespoon of the starter, which I've been working on for 2 weeks now. So I'm gonna mix this in until it's well dispersed. Mix it in with your hands. And I'd say when you get up in the morning, right before you put your coffee on, I'd say about the time you're feeding your pets. I do this around the time I'm feeding my cats. So I'd say this is pretty well dispersed at this point. Everything's kind of melted into the water, no lumps, or not many. It's also very important to use your hands. That's kind of part of making the bread your own. So to this mixture, I'm going to add another 200 grams of the whole wheat bread flour mixture. Again, 50-50%. Everything into the same container as the starter and the water. Again, mixing with my hands until everything is really well mixed. This is gonna actually make 2 loaves of bread. But since I'm gonna be doing this, and it is kind of a long process, I'm probably gonna end up making 4 boule at the end of this process. So this is what we call a levain, and this is the preliminary stage to making the boule. I'm going to cover this and put it in a warm place overnight, and when I start to see these bubbling, beautiful things happening on the surface, I'll know it's ready to go. It'll probably take about 12 hours. In the final stages of making my tartine bread from Chad Robertson, a shout out to my gluten friend Suzanne Lenzer, who taught me how to make this beautiful, beautiful bread. So here we go. I'm gonna take the dough that's been rising probably for about 3 hours now out of the mixing bowl. I'm gonna get every single piece. I'm gonna dust the top lightly with flour. Well, not so lightly. So this is gonna make 2 boules. I'm gonna split this in half as evenly as I can with my bench scraper. And I'm going to turn the pieces over, and the bottom is going to become the crust. So now I'm going to start to pull the ends up so that all the flour is coating each mound of dough. And I'm going to begin to pat and shape taut rounds, which will sit and rise again. Put a little more flour here and there. And now you know why bakers have wonderful upper arms. You're always working that dough. Do the same thing with the other. Pull the dough up and over itself so it's entirely coated in flour. And again, a little extra flour on my hands, and I'm gonna work a nice taut mound of dough. I could see the bubbles under the surface, and it makes me very excited. This is wild yeast making that happen. It's actually only 3 things in this bread: flour, water, salt. That's it. The starter is made from wild yeast. Anyway, I'm gonna cover this now and let it rise a little more with a dirty kitchen towel. I'm only joking, it's clean, just joking. See what happens next. Just gonna dust the tops of these beautiful loaves. I'm gonna move really fast now, or as fast as I can, with these hot pans, because they are really, really hot. Put 1 boule in the shallower part of the pan. So I'm just gonna dump it out. Well, look at those beautiful concentric circles. The other one. Whoop. Gonna move that around a little bit. Make a few cuts in the bread so that the steam escapes. Same here. Get these bad boys back in the oven. I'm gonna cover the pan. That's really hot, I have to say, so be very careful with this. Back in the oven. I like to do 2 together, although you probably at the beginning want to try to do 1 at a time. Close the door, lower the temperature to 450, and we're gonna go for 20 minutes in the oven. The boule's cooled, and actually it's the holiday season, so I've probably made about 6 of these. I'm gonna cut into these now so that you can see what the result of all of this is. The crust is, that hollow sound is what you're looking for, because you know it's really cooked through. So I'm gonna cut this in half to show you. The result of all of my hard work. Well, it wasn't really hard. It's actually joyful. And look at that. Again, this is a sourdough boule. 3 ingredients: flour, water, salt, and maybe a 4th, and that is patience.